Hello guys, welcome back to Car Obsession and once more to a walk around video. This is the series in which I give you a static look at a car, and this time we are joined by the brand new MG3 Hybrid Plus. As you can probably see behind me, the sun is setting, so yes, light is limited, so this will pretty much be a one take video. So yeah, what could possibly go wrong? Anyway, on to the car. So yes, this is the brand new MG3 Hybrid Plus. It is available in two trim levels. You have the SE, which has a starting price of £18,495, and that has features such as a 10.25 inch touchscreen, smartphone connectivity, rear parking sensors, and the MG Pilot. But if you spend £2 more, £20,495, you will get this, the Trophy. This adds keyless entry, you get more safety features, you also get heated front seats, heated steering wheel, keyless entry. I don't know if I mentioned the keyless entry, but you also get a 360-degree camera as well. Now, as we are outside the car, let me talk about the styling. I think it is a pretty respectable looking car. A few weeks ago I had the Suzuki Swift and I wasn't a big fan of the styling of that, and I would say in comparison the MG3 Hybrid Plus is a better car. As standard you get 16-inch alloys, which I think look rather fetching. You also get LED lights as standard. I don't believe you get LED headlights on the SE trim level, but I may need to correct myself. Let me dive under the bonnet. Got the bonnet pulled just in here. That's the right one. So this is of course a hybrid. You have a 1.5 litre naturally aspirated petrol, which is helped out by a 100 kilowatt electric motor. Together, combined, they produce 194 horsepower and 313 newton meters of torque. So this has got a good amount of poke to it. In regard to 0 to 62 times, the MG3 Hybrid Plus will do it in 8 seconds. And if I'm not mistaken, the top speed is 106, although let's be honest, the top speed in the UK at least is somewhat irrelevant. Now, I'm sure you're more interested in economy than you are performance. So on a combined run, MG states this will offer up to 64.2 mpg, and in regards to CO2 emissions, they come in at 100 grams per kilometre. So these figures are very closely matched to the Suzuki Swift I had a few weeks ago. In fact, this has the same fuel economy figure, 64.2 mpg. One thing I do really like about this car, there's a few things I really like, but one of them is the colour. This is called Battersea Blue. Now, the camera lens makes the shade brighter than it actually is. In real life, it's a little bit of a darker hue. It is a really nice shade. Now, as I'm towards the rear of the car, let me talk about the boot space. Now, this is one area where it trumps the Suzuki Swift. Now, I do have my bags in there, so I will cut to a shot where the boot is emptier, but with the rear seats up, you get 293 litres. With them folded down, you get 983. One thing I am quite surprised by, particularly on a car in this day and age, is look, there's no 60-40 split in the rear seats. It is a rear bench. So yes, you can't really have the versatility of folding one part of the rear seats down. No, it's a bench. Another thing, it doesn't fold flat, so we'll cut to a clip of that as well. So some of you may find that a little bit disappointing. Now again, as I'm towards the rear of the car, let me test out the rear space. The driver's seat has been set up for my space, set up for my height. I'm 6'2", so I am of course a taller chap. Just spotted I've got some bits on the floor there, so just get those out the way. So as I mentioned, I'm 6'2". I'm going to keep the door open because the light is fading and you've got dark roof lining, so you do feel a little bit hemmed in the MG3 Hybrid Plus, if I'm going to be honest. But as you can see, yeah, you can see how noisy this image is. You can see the graining. Yeah, it's quite dark in here, but as you can hopefully see, the leg room, the knee room is pretty commendable, particularly for a car of this size. So if you are a taller passenger in the back of the MG3 Hybrid Plus, fear not, you should be well covered. Headroom isn't too bad if I spin you around, although at this point I don't think you're going to see too much. No, I'm just, well, that's not That's not too bad. So you can't see my hair, so I could be bald for all you know, but yeah, so hopefully you can just see my fingers. So I'm looking at the screen, not the lens. Yeah, I've got a bit of room left over, so if you're 6'4", you may find the back of the MG3 Hybrid Plus to be a little bit tight. Could you fit 3 adults in the back? Oh, almost dropped my camera then. Could you fit 3 adults in the back? No, but to be honest, this is a Super Mini. Yeah, it has to be expected, really. 2 adults will be fine. 3 children may be able to push, but it depends on car seats, because car seats can be quite chunky. One thing I do like about the MG3 Hybrid Plus, I should stop saying such the long-winded name, is that not only do you get vents in the back for the passengers in the rear, but you also get a charging port as well. In the Swift, you get neither of these items. From memory, I don't think the Swift had map pockets either, but I could be mistaken, but you do get map pockets in the MG3. You have little door bin in the rear door as well for a bit of extra practicality. You have a little slight hump in the middle there, so if you do have someone sat in the back, they do have a bit of a little hump to navigate, which you can't see. It's just far too dark, but trust me, it's there, but it isn't too pronounced. Right, let's step into the front. I quite like the steering wheel, but it is a bit of an odd shape. You get a flat bottom, which I like, it's quite sporty, but you also get a flat top as well. Yeah, the steering wheel does feel a little bit awkward to handle, and if you're someone who likes to shuffle your wheel, yeah, this will probably feel a little bit ungainly, but yeah. Right, let me step in. I'm just going to turn the Bluetooth off on my phone so it doesn't try to connect to the media. Bear with me. Before I do step in, actually, let me show you the seat. So as part of the trophy trim level, you get fabric with faux leather, which I quite like. I've driven this for a lot of miles. In fact, I drove this 515 miles yesterday, and these seats were comfortable, they were supportive, and yeah, they are just on the whole very nice. The headrest is quite squidgy as well, so that was most welcome on my longer journey. The interior, I think MG have done a good job here, if I'm going to be honest, particularly given the price point. Apologies, you can see all my fingerprint marks. I know, a little bit grubby. Right, let's turn the car on. You've got a stop button there. Sorry, that's a bit ungainly. I hurt my finger when I was working on one of my cars, so I've got a lovely bruised fingernail, which you can't really see. There we go. Yeah, sorry, it looks a little bit unsightly. Yeah, I like the interior details. So you have the panel here, which, okay, it is plastic, but MG have tried to spruce things up in here and jazz it up. And you've got nice faux leather with the kind of bronzy copper stitching, which I think it helps to add a bit of character to the inside. You get a 10.25 inch touchscreen as standard, and compared to the Swift, I think it looks a bit less aftermarket. I think it looks more like a bespoke system. The system in the Swift is perfectly good, a little bit laggy at times, but I do think it looks a little bit aftermarket, whereas this looks more bespoke. And you also get a 7-inch digital driver's display, whereas in the Swift you have to make do with an analog setup, which isn't old-fashioned, but it's not as contemporary as this is. So well done, MG. You get a 3-speed automatic transmission as standard, and obviously that's drive, that's neutral, that's reverse. In reverse, you get the 360-degree camera, which I think is brilliant. And if I just hit this one here, look at that, 3D like you get on the Audi. So the tech in this car, given the price point, is impressive. I remembered when MG first came back under its Chinese overlords, and the offerings were cheap, but they were kind of not nasty, that's the wrong word. You could tell they were cheap, let's put it that way. Whereas with the latest offerings, they're still well priced, but credit where credit's due, MG has stepped up its game in regards to interior design. I remember the original MG3, and it was dated, it was plasticky, and yeah, it wasn't a nice place in which to spend a prolonged amount of time. But fast forward to the present day, and it's a night and day difference. It's fantastic. So if I were wearing a hat, I would take it off to for MG. Just to go through these buttons down here, yes, they are a little bit cheap, but they've got a nice damping to them. I quite like the way how they feel. And you've got nice little shortcuts, so that's your home. That's obviously for your demister and your rear screen. And you've got one for your aircon as well, or your climate control. And this is where you can access your heated seats and heated steering wheel. I'll be honest, I'd rather have a physical button for the heated steering wheel and for the heated seats, but it's the way how the automotive world is going. Everything is being buried into the touchscreen. And one thing I have found a little bit annoying is that a lot of, well, pretty much all the safety systems are also buried in the touchscreen as well. So you've got all your MG Pilot bits down here. So you've got, let me just zoom in because it's a little bit overexposed. So we've got intelligent overspeed alert, overspeed audible warning. To be honest, there's lots of different settings this car has. Now, a little tip for you. If you own an MG and every now and then you're getting this really annoying intermittent beeping noise that goes on for, it feels like 30 seconds, it's quite a long time. What? My car's about to explode! No, seriously, what is that? It's a setting within the navigation. So if you go to the navigation, you've got the three lines in the left bottom corner. Go there and you've got settings. Go into settings and then you've got warnings. So what you want to turn off is alert point warnings. Switch on. So yeah, turn that off and you should, the bleeping noise should disappear. So a little tip for you if you own this car, because I was driving this to Falmouth, which is quite a long drive from here, and the noise was driving me absolutely potty. We've got DAB radio, of course. BBC Radio 3 is not my choice, it's just what the delivery driver had it set on, and I use Android Auto, so I just bypassed this completely. Yeah, enough of that, I think. You've got little shortcuts on the right hand side of the touchscreen as well. Bring you over here and you've got the digital display, which is nice and crisp. I think both displays are very, very good. You've got buttons on the steering wheel. Of course you've got buttons on the steering wheel. It's a modern day car. So that's volume. And then that's to change. So I'm just changing radio stations now. So yeah. And then when you've got your Android Auto and your Apple CarPlay, that you can use that to skip tracks. Obviously phone, hit that button and it changes the menu just up there. And then you can use the little toggle switch to go through certain items. There we go. And you've got various different menus that you can go through. Tyre pressure. And there we go. That's a favourites button just there. You have another favourites button just there. That's for your adaptive cruise control, and that's the voice recognition. In regard to practicality, because I need to get a wiggle on because the light is fading even more. Let's just zoom out a bit. You have two cup holders in the middle, and you have that can actually be pulled out if you just want to have it as one general cubby. I do have a criticism about the cup holders. They're a bit wide, so most bottles, so that, as you can see, there's a lot of movement there. So when you're driving about, when you go around roundabouts or corners, the bottles do kind of not fall over, but they do that. And it is a little bit annoying. Nitpicky, maybe, but I think it's a valid complaint. You do get door bins, which offer a good amount of size. There we go. Oh, in fact, that's actually a bit too... Oh, that's leaking. Spillage on aisle 4. Yeah, I reckon you could probably get a litre bottle in there if you tried. And you have got a Type-C charging port on the right-hand side, 12-volt socket in the middle, and a old-school USB port on the left-hand side. Oh, got an armrest, which is quite nice for a longer journey. In there, you've got additional storage. Zoom out. That can actually be moved like so. So you can do that, and then you've got some more storage in there. It's got a bit of rubbish in there, and that section also lifts out. I've got to mention you've got 3 driving modes. So if I close the door, oh, smooth. So you have normal, sport or eco. Pretty self-explanatory. Yes, and of course you have a glove box which offers a decent amount of space, not overly massive, but it should be enough for most uses. A pair of gloves, for example. That pretty much, I think, has everything covered in the front when it comes to practicality and spaciousness. Oh, weird thing to mention, but you get a nice frameless rear view mirror. I think it's quite smart. So just bring you here, get the focus. There we go. It's quite smart. As mentioned, you do get a black roof lining, which is kind of nice, but yeah, it does make the cabin feel smaller than it actually is. And I wouldn't say this is a particularly small cabin. In fact, that MG has been kind of boasting that the new MG3 has got more space compared to its predecessor. So as the light fades, look at those clouds. Those clouds, it's poetic. Look at that. As the light begins to fade, we'll have one last walk around the MG3 Hybrid Plus. I'm pretty happy I've been able to do it in one take. One take. He says, mucking up his words. Sorry, I've got tank in my mind because yesterday I did a fuel economy test and I was seeing how far I can go in one tank, so that popped into my head. But yes, yeah, one take, not perfect, but it will do. It will do. If you have any questions about this car, please do drop them in the comment section below. Just bear in mind, this isn't my car. This has kindly been lent to me by MG Motor UK. So by the time you watch this video, the car would have gone back to MG. So I may be limited with what questions I answer. So if you're looking for any long-term ownership questions, that isn't a question that I myself would be able to answer, because I've had this for a week. Well, I've had this just under a week, and this will go back to MG in a few days time. But yeah, I do hope you have enjoyed this video or found it useful. So yes, if you have found this video useful, be sure to like the video, like, comment and subscribe. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time, guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.